Well, 2 weeks from today, there will be a sea of pedal power across Milwaukee for the annual UPAF Ride for the Arts. And this morning, we are getting you ready for that big ride and really ready for riding in general this summer. Here with us this morning for our UPAF volunteer and bike expert, Chris Cagle. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
And Bridget Clementi from Children's Health Education Center. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Let's get started right away, Chris, with the bike. How can we get our bike ready for the big ride?
Well, one of the things to think about is ABCs. First thing on a bike is make sure your tires are inflated nice and hard. When you squeeze them, they should be nice and hard. The general rule of thumb is the thinner the tire, the higher the pressure. Racing bikes are 100 pounds of pressure. A bike like this might be about 70 pounds of pressure, and a wide cruiser bike might be as little as 35 to 40 pounds.
And I know the bike has the PSI right on the tire for what you want, but if you don't have a good pump, is there a good just hand test or a way to test it?
Right. It should feel like a hard hose that with water pumping through. It shouldn't be soft or mushy.
Okay. All right.
Number two is the brakes. When we pull the brake levers, they should not pull in more than halfway.
Oh, I see. So you got about a little gap there between the handle. If you're pulling it all the way into the your handlebar, then it's not a good sign.
Imagine it like on your car. If you hit the brakes all the way down to the floor, not a good thing.
And if it is coming in all the way to the handle, what does that indicate?
That means that probably the brake pads are worn or the cables have been stretched.
Okay.
And you need more braking power, so you need to get that adjusted.
Is that something you can fix on your own, or do you have to go to the bike shop for that?
In some cases, there's a little adjusting barrel. You might be able to just give it a turn or two, and that might take care of it.
I'll leave that up to your guys. All right. Is that it?
No.
Okay.
That's
one
the
more
B.
thing.
The C.
C. All right.
All right. So then we want to just quickly check over the entire bike. So we want to make sure, for example, the wheels spin freely, not rubbing. Sometimes when I go up a hill, it seems like they're rubbing, but it's just me. Anyway, you also want to make sure everything is tight. Excuse me. Check the handlebars.
I see.
Check the seat, and run through your gears, and you should be ready to go.
And Chris, real quick, I know your guys at Wheel and Sprocket do a lot of tune-ups this time of year. What is the number one thing that they see wrong with a bike or that needs to be tuned up when they come in springtime?
Well, you know, bikes need lubrication. And a little bit of tri-flow or some sort of lubrication on some of the parts really makes a difference.
All right. Let's move over here. Bridget, you've brought in some helmets, very important. Let's talk about safety on the UPAF ride and, again, riding in general this year.
Yeah, so it's a requirement on the UPAF ride that you actually have a helmet. But at Children's Hospital, we really want families to wear helmets every time that they're on their bicycle. And it's important to not only wear them, but make sure that they
Let's try one on
fit
here.
properly.
Okay.
So go ahead and let's see if we can get that one to fit.
Okay, and this actually is an adult-sized helmet,
That is an adult-sized helmet.
Chin strap is a little tight. And
what you want to do is, Tom, you put it on exactly right, nice and low in the front.
Mean facing front, not backwards. That's
yeah,
that's a good
actually,
start.
we see some of that on the ride, which is a little comical. But it's nice and low. Here on the ears, that one side is behind your ear, one side in front. This clip underneath, and you have it nice and tight on the bottom, which is perfect. Sometimes people wear it where it's too loose on the bottom, and they don't want to have it so tight. But if your head should ever hit the concrete, you don't want that helmet moving. You want that to stay in place.
Now this almost feels too tight. Is there like a guideline? Should you be able to fit like a finger or so in there?
Yep, one finger.
All right. So you don't want the obviously the strap that comes down several inches. Then it really isn't doing any good.
Absolutely. And the girls tend to wear their helmet back a little bit too far. So when you look up here towards my finger, you should always be able to see the top of your helmet.
Okay, and when you're buying a helmet, is there one, this is just a little too tight on my chin. Is there a sticker, a certification you should be looking for on the helmet? Or?
They all meet the federal certifications, but if your helmet is really old, it's time to probably get a new helmet. You know, helmets change so much, and any time that they're in a crash, you want to be mindful of that. You want to get a new helmet. So if you're just not sure, I would recommend buying a new one to make sure that you're safe throughout the whole summer.
All right, Chris, Bridget, thanks so much for being here this morning. Great tips. And if you would like more information about the UPAF Ride for the Arts, 2 weeks from today, log on to our website, today's TMJ4.com, and click on links. We are going to be back right after this.